it true that like a lot of bodybuilders also either, you know, being bullied or oppressed in a certain way, and then kind of like they wanted to build that shield, the muscle? Is that, do you find that to be true?
Yeah, I mean, and my definitely, you know, as I said, when I was bullied horribly when I was younger, but it was just different. I mean, I was bullied in school, but I also fought in tournaments all over the United States. But I just couldn't bring myself to use what I knew on somebody on the streets when I was younger. So it wasn't really that, but that's not why I got into bodybuilding. Like I said, I really got into bodybuilding because I was just incredibly skinny. I mean, and you know, back in my days, you know, it was like when the Britannium shirts came out, the 501s, you had the matching belt. So, you know, it was our way of getting girls, you know. So we just trained our upper body to be able to, you know, look presentable to be able to get girls. It never really had anything else to do with that. And it just kind of snowballed into it when I was younger. You know, I met some guys who were deep in the bodybuilding game from my hometown, Jeff Lawson and some other guys that were locally big names. And you know, this one guy named Joe Jennings, he's like, man, you got great genetics. And I was like, what does that mean? And, you know, and he just took me to the gym and they started training me and stuff like that. And it just responded, you know, incredibly. So it kind of just snowballed into that. I had no idea that you could make money or make a living. It was just something to keep me off the streets, to keep me from being in a gang or a drug dealer or something like that. So it was just something positive, just kept me away from, you know, the lifestyle that most of the people were involved in my area at that time.
Now, when you put on the sides, did you notice people started treating you differently?
Not really, because, you know, you're still in your hometown environment. Nobody really gives a damn. You know, everybody thought they were a tough guy and a big guy back then. So not for a long time, not until probably I competed in the California, and when I won that kind of gave me some notoriety. And then, you know, I started kind of being accepted, you know, but still I was still a late bloomer, even in bodybuilding. So there was still a lot of bodybuilders in Fresno, California, where I'm from, who were way better than me at the time. Or let me change that. They were closer to their genetic potential than I was. So they still looked down upon me and like, oh, you know, you're pretty good or this, that, and other, you know. So I still had a long ways to go, but at least I was recognized at that time. But, you know, yeah, I come from a small town environment and, you know, really, really racist. So it was really hard. You know, I remember even when I won my first pro show, the Ironman, you know, back in my hometown, another local amateur bodybuilder who was a friend of mine, he won the amateur Ironman, which is just in Fresno. And here I won my first pro show, and they're like, oh, he looked better than you. You know, his show was kind of, more hard than yours was. And I'm like, really? I go, so I competed against the world's best, you know, second rank, Vince Taylor's ranked number 2 in the world, and I beat him. And you guys are going to say this guy was a tougher competitor than I was. Like, okay, so it was always that tug of war. But eventually I had to let go of that small mentality that most people have to deal with in their hometown, and try to just open up my mind and just learn about my craft and what I needed to do.
Did you enjoy being, when you got into professional bodybuilding, did you enjoy that experience?
For a while, yeah, for a while. It quickly was revealed to me that it's a job and it's to be taken serious. And, you know, like I said, I come from nothing, and, you know, I'm welfare, and, you know, at times didn't have a place to stay, didn't have food, you know, didn't have clothes and stuff like that. So, you know, when I was propelled into being a pro athlete, you know, pro bodybuilder, it was a means of making money. It was a means of changing my lifestyle and being able to eat and have nice things and stuff like that. So I never really was into the title thing. I was into, if I compete in this show, I can make X amount of money. So I always looked at it as a job, you know, first and foremost, where a lot of my competitors that competed against me, you know, thought it was offensive, you know, because it's a sport. I'm like, no, I pay my bills. You know, that's how I pay my bills, that's how I feed myself. So this is a job to me. So, you know, when you switch from being an athlete into taking care of yourself and your family, it changes everything. It changes your whole mentality and the way you look at things. So it kind of steals away the love of the game, because you find out that no, it's a business behind this, and you have to run yourself like that. So that kind of just stole the thunder away from that and everything. But when you're a kid and you're playing Pop Warner Sports, man, it's great, it's beautiful, you know, mom and dad are videotaping and all that. But no, when you're trying to be the best in the world, that's out the door. Nobody gives a damn about that. It's about making money, and it's truly a sport. I think where any professional sport, you can be at your best and continue a great output and lose your job. You know, like a 9 to 5, as long as you're going to do your job, you have a job. But say, you know, I'm still at my best and there's some young guy or somebody beats me, that changed my income ratio immediately. Quickly you find out that that's a job. That's not a sport anymore, you know. So yeah, but you know, I look back at it now and I enjoy it. But back then, my mentality was, listen, there's first place and there's last. Period. That's just the way I looked at it. And when I won a show, I gave myself, you know, a window of about 20 hours to enjoy that, and then like that was a pass. Nobody gives a damn about that. Nobody's gonna give a damn that I just won the Ironman when I got the Arnold Classic a week later. They're not gonna be scared of me or anything like that. So put that to the side, because you know that's the past, literally. Even though it was 20 hours later, that's how I had to set my mind up to kind of stay hungry instead of like living high on a horse and getting my ass handed to me because, you know, I'm not doing my job as far as getting ready for my next show.